east side, west side, doesn't matter, you're on the best side. Hello, welcome to this week's episode. Hope you are tuning in on the way home from work. If you're sitting down, relaxing at home on the couch or the seat or the bed, at home, relaxing on the bed, the couch, I don't know. This is episode 35, I believe. Wow, look at that, 35 episodes, and hello, everyone. Hello, how's your week going? Middle of the week, hump day. We got a fun one for you today, and as you can see, this is the first episode where I have the back shade blinds. What are those called? I have them open, and whoever walks by is going to be a part of this episode, and they're going to look in here. And if they knock on the window, I will accept them for a chat. We'll see, though. I don't know. All right, let's get into it. Actually, not a lot of birthdays today, June 14th. It is, there are birthdays. Burl Ives, American actor, singer, 1904. Donald Trump is his birthday today. 1946 was his birthday. He just got arrested yesterday. Will Patton from Remember the Titans, among other roles. Go home, Ed. Before you do something you're going to regret. Faison Love, great actor. He was born 1968. I loved him in the movie Made. He's also in Couples Retreat. He's Elf. He's like the what is the name of that store? It's like a department store, and he's like the manager, and Will Ferrell comes and works for him. What's the name of that store? If anyone can give me the name of that store, let me know. Bruce Bowen, American basketball player and sportscaster. He's an NBA player. He was considered a very good defensive player, maybe a little dirty at times. And we're going on down. There's not a lot. Kevin McHale. No, not the basketball player, the actor, 1988. And then R.J. Barrett. It's his birthday. So a good amount of NBA players' birthdays. I think I just said 2, but okay. All right. That's, any deaths? Let's look at deaths. Going here real quick. I don't really see any that I recognize. I'm just going fast though, so yeah, I don't know. Who was the first death recorded here? Otomo no Otomaro, Japanese general, died in 809. All right. So today's episode, I wanted to get into a little theme here for this week's episode, and that is missing. Okay, I want to do a missing episode about people who have mysteriously vanished under strange circumstances. A little guidelines before we get into this episode is there are when I was doing my little research on the computer here, I saw that a lot of them were just okay. They just killed themselves. He's like he jumped off a bridge and was never seen again. Okay, so they just killed themselves. Like, I'm talking about people who have just mysteriously vanished, seemingly out of thin air at times. And also another thing, I didn't want to put any children that have been abducted. That's just sad. So sticking with those parameters, those guidelines, Yeah. I know, I'm a saint. I know. All right, so let's get into the first one, huh? This is one that they've made a few movies about. Eagle of the Ninth, Centurion, or the Eagle, I think is what the movie's called, and that is the Legio 9 Hispana, 9th Spanish Legion. They were a Roman legion of the Imperial Roman Army that existed from the 1st century until at least 120 AD. They fought in various provinces of the Roman Republic and the early Roman Empire. They were stationed in Britain following the Roman invasion of 43 AD. And they disappeared from surviving Roman records. After 120 AD, there's no extant account of what happened to the legion. So basically they say to have marched into Caledonia, which is modern-day Scotland, and then they were never heard of again. An entire legion. So that's kind of interesting to think about. Were they ambushed by another army? Were they abducted by things? Did they just go into a different parallel dimension? There are many theories. There are a few of them that I saw that are like in fiction and popular culture. In Carl Edward Wagner's 1976 fantasy novel Legion from the Shadows, the survivors of the Ninth flee underground where they interbreed with the worms of the earth. That's an interesting one. Okay. There was another one. Okay. In David Gemmel's Stones of Power historical fantasy series, the Ninth have been trapped in limbo and are released by the protagonists to help in battles. So maybe they're stuck in limbo somewhere, and they help out in battles when you kind of like the army of the dead in Lord of the Rings. That's kind of an interesting theory. If you can summon them somehow, that'd be cool. A lot of people think that they were destroyed in battle with native Britons, and that might have happened, but like no record of them just ever existing ever again. And how many of them were there? About 5,400 is the size. So that's a good amount of people to not have any. Their technology was very limited back then. I guess they didn't really have, a cell phone to be like, hey, we're all dying over here. Yeah. But interesting theory. That's one of the first recorded accounts of a disappearance of some kind. So, Ninth Roman Legion from Spain. And now this one is another group of people that were vanished, and it was they're called. It's from an area called Angakuni Lake, which is in Nunavut, Canada, one of several lakes along the Kazan River. And there was in 1930, a newsman in the Paz, Manitoba, reported a small Inuit village right off the lake. They welcomed fur trappers who passed through occasionally, but in 1930, a fur trapper well known to the village found that all of the villagers had gone. He found unfinished shirts that still had needles in them and food hanging over fire pits, and therefore concluded the villagers had left suddenly. So these villagers just went up and disappeared. Even more disturbing, he found 7 sled dogs from starvation in a grave that had been dug up. This fur trapper knew that an animal could not have been responsible because the stones circling the grave were undisturbed. He reported this to the local police, who conducted a search for the missing people. No one was ever found. This entire village is up and gone. Did something frighten them? Did they just go, fuck this, we're out of here? But then why would they leave food and their sled dogs and their homes like that? You think there would be some packing up. So these people have obviously left in a hurry, or they were snatched up in a hurry from someone or something. Such is the story that appears in Frank Edwards' 1959 book, Stranger Than Science, and Majestic and Dean Koontz's horror novel, Phantoms, the world's greatest UFO mysteries, have even more detailed version, as do other websites and books. So they're saying UFOs maybe. Maybe a big group of Sasquatch came in, took them all out, and just dragged every single one of them away. I want to know if there was like any blood evidence, trail of blood. That might have been something, or if it was just completely gone. That's interesting to think about as well. So, Yeah, yeah, another group of people that have just randomly disappeared. And now this one, for the next one, is we're going to talk about a person who disappeared, but this is a place in Vermont, right? Yeah, Vermont. It's called the Bennington Triangle, and it was a phrase coined by author Joseph A. Citro, and it's an area in southwestern Vermont which a number of people went missing between 1945 and 1950. So the span of these 5 years, a bunch of people have gone missing in this area, and they've called it the Bennington Triangle. Vermont, as you know, looks like a nice scenic maple syrup town, but there's one in particular of a guy who have disappeared, and his name's James Tedford. He was a veteran, allegedly went missing on December 1st, 1949, 3 years to the day after Weldon was last seen. Tedford, a resident of the Bennington Soldiers Home, he was visiting relatives and was accompanied to a local bus station, okay, which was the last location where he was seen. According to witnesses, Tedford got on the bus and was still aboard the last stop before arriving in Bennington. Somewhere between the last stop and Bennington, he vanished. His belongings were still in the luggage rack, and an open bus timetable was on his vacant seat. Tony Jinks, I don't know who that is, discusses this claim, saying that the popular conception is that he vanished into thin air while on the bus, but like many missing person stories, there's a gap between when he was last seen and when he was reported missing a week or so later. So regarding his disappearance, there's not enough evidence to suggest he didn't dematerialize, even though no trace of him was ever found. Again, this might have been, I don't know. You think this was a suicide situation? He was a veteran. He was a veteran in 1949, possibly a veteran of World War II, maybe had PTSD. Maybe this is just a suicide situation here. I don't know. But it is weird how he just vanished out of thin air by all these reports and accounts. So, yeah. And then I'm looking at all these other, don't want to get into all these other ones, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 notable people who have gone missing in this area during this time. Maybe there's a serial killer during there in that time. Between 5 people disappeared. Yeah. And 3 were women, 2 were men. I don't know if that makes any difference. Okay, for the next one is the disappearance. So this one's kind of weird. The disappearance of Frederick Valentich. Valentich? I don't know how you say his name. Let's see. Valen and then T-I-C-H. He's an Australian pilot who disappeared while on 125 nautical mile training flight in a Cessna light aircraft over the Bass Strait. On the evening of Saturday the 21st, October 1978, 20-year-old Valentich informed Melbourne Air Traffic Control that he was being accompanied by an aircraft about 1,000 feet above him, and that his engine had begun running roughly before finally reporting, "It's not an aircraft." Okay, so think about that. There's about an aircraft 1,000 feet above me. Okay, I got an aircraft above me. What's going on? It's not an aircraft. There were belated reports of a UFO sighting in Australia on the night of disappearance. However, the Associated Press reported was skeptical of the UFO behind Valentich's disappearance, and some of the officials speculated he became disoriented and saw his own lights reflected in the water, or lights from a nearby island while flying upside down. So there are a lot of conspiracy theories with this, obviously. But a big one is a UFO came and abducted him, and he's gone. UFOologists have speculated that extraterrestrials either destroyed Valentich's aircraft or abducted him, asserting that some individuals reported seeing an erratically moving green light in the sky, and he was in a steep dive at the time. They believe these accounts are significant because of the green light mentioned in his radio transmissions. So apparently in his radio transmissions, there's a green light. That is interesting, but his plane was kind of a little shitty plane, Cessna 182. you know. But it is interesting to think about. Let me know what you guys think about that one. Okay. And yeah, I mean those were 4 I talked about. And then I wanted to talk about 2 of the famous ones, and one of them is Amelia Earhart. I think her plane just crashed somewhere, but yeah. And a lot of people don't know this about her in the crash, is that she had a navigator with her. It wasn't just her in the cockpit. During an attempt at becoming the first woman to complete a circumnavigational flight of the globe in 1937 in a Purdue-funded Lockheed Model 10E Electra, Earhart and navigator Fred Noonan disappeared over the central Pacific Ocean near Howland Island. The 2 were last seen in New Guinea on July 2nd, 1937, on the last land stop before Howland Island. She presumably died in the Pacific during the circumnavigation just 3 weeks prior to her 40th birthday. Nearly 1 year and 6 months after she and Noon disappeared, Earhart was officially declared dead. Investigations and significant public interest in their disappearance still continue over 80 years later. So they vanished, but they probably crashed. And then this last one, okay? This last one is another famous one. Let me get some Wawa real quick. And that is D.B. Cooper. So D.B. Cooper is a media epithet for an unidentified man. He hijacked Northwest Orient Flight 305, a Boeing 727 aircraft in U.S. airspace. Basically, I don't think I need to read this. He came on this flight. Many people have described him. He was wearing a business suit. He was a sharp-dressed guy, well put together. He was even very charismatic towards the flight staff, and very approachable, personable. And then during the flight, he robbed everyone. And then he told the flight attendant he was armed with a bomb. He told him he had a bomb, demanding $200 in ransom, and requested 4 parachutes upon landing in Seattle. After releasing the passengers in Seattle, the hijacker instructed the flight crew to refuel the aircraft and begin a second flight to Mexico City, with a refueling stop in Reno, Nevada. After 30 minutes after taking off, the hijacker opened the aircraft's aft door, deployed the staircase, and parachuted into the night over southwestern Washington. And he has never been found or identified. So this is also interesting. In 1980, a small portion of the ransom money was found along the banks of the Columbia River. So this happened in 1971. So 9 years later, they find this. The discovery of the money renewed public interest in the mystery, but yielded no additional information about the hijacker's identity or fate. The remaining money was never recovered. He identified himself as Dan Cooper, but a reporter confused his name with another suspect, and the hijacker subsequently became known as D.B. Cooper. Even 45 years after the hijacking, the FBI maintained an active investigation and built an extensive case file, but they don't have any conclusions. So, and his picture, the drawings they have of him, he just looks like a regular white guy in the 70s, regular white man in the 70s. You can't really, I guess he got a big forehead. Besides the big four, there's really no discernible, there's no features that really stand out. So, you can just see a bunch of these people walking around. Yeah, that's. I've always been interested in the D.B. Cooper case. Did he die when he jumped out of the plane? What happened? I always wonder about that. Okay. Hope you liked the little cases of the mystery and vanishing groups and people. If you have any other ones, write in, let me know. Who am I kidding? You won't. All right, now we're going to talk about some NBA and players who have vanished in the NBA playoffs. First off is Jimmy Butler in the 2023 NBA Finals. First of all, congratulations to the Denver Nuggets on getting their first NBA championship. The parade will be tomorrow and Thursday. Nikola Jokic, Finals MVP, averaged. He was averaging a triple-double, but I think it went down to like 7 assists or something. But amazing finals from him and Jamal Murray as well. Aaron Gordon locked up everyone. He really proved himself to be a valuable NBA player. Before the knock on Aaron Gordon, I think before was he's just known as a dunker. He was just winning dunk contests. He's never going to contribute to winning. I think that was his biggest knock, and can't say that anymore. He's a very good player now, and he's a good defensive player, high energy. He still has the dunk package, but he can put an offensive move together and finish. So Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray came back from 2 years, torn ACL, I believe, the torn ACL, and he had a fantastic playoffs. He's a really good playoff performer, and then I think this cemented Nikola Jokic as the best player in the NBA today. I think before the season started, I had Giannis. I think a lot of people said Giannis was, but this season just really proved that Jokic is now the best player in the NBA. He really doesn't have, besides lack of athleticism, he doesn't have any weaknesses to his game. So, and it's insane what he can do, stats wise, winning wise, everything. So, yeah, congratulations to the Nuggets. Anyways, Jimmy Butler, he disappeared in the playoffs. He got him there though, and they're an 8 seed. It's probably the hardest road to get to as the finals is an 8 seed. So, good on him. But he disappeared in the finals. Let's look at another guy who disappeared in the finals, and that's LeBron James. That's right. LeBron James someone walking by behind me. LeBron James in 2011, when the Miami Heat went to their first finals with him, he only averaged 17 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. But, you got to be averaging at least 10 more points than that. So he really did disappear in the finals there, and they lost. But then they came back and won the next year. Another guy who disappeared in the playoffs. Oh, he does this every year, and that's Joel Embiid. Fantastic regular season player. Draft him in fantasy, especially points leagues. But he will disappear in the playoffs and not show up. He's proved to do that time and time again. And the last one is, oh no, I gotta say it, I guess. Warriors disappearing after game 4 in the finals. Okay, and then also, but my last one was Kawhi Leonard. He come on, I had it on it. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard in the bubble, Game 7 in the bubble. They also blew a 3-1 series lead. He could only muster 14 points on 27% in Game 7. And they lost to who was it? They lost to Spurs, Raptors, however, Clippers did to a version. In fact, the 2020, I think it was the Nuggets who beat him in the bubble. But yeah. So those are playoff performers in the NBA who disappear. Are there any other? I almost just threw up. Are there any other athletes that you all know of who disappear when the lights are the brightest? Let me know. Write in NFL, MLB, MLS. What other sports are there? All right. It's movie time, baby. All right, so these are some movies that I compiled. I think I put 10 here, so buckle up. It's 10 movies about missing people, missing cases, and these are the ones that are my personal favorites. And the number 10, the first one, I have The Nice Guys, 2016, with Ryan Gosling, Russell Crowe. Holland March, Ryan Gosling, Down on His Luck, Private Eye, 1977 L.A. Jackson Healy is a hired enforcer who hurts people for a living. They turn into partners after a young woman named Amelia mysteriously disappears, and they got to find her. It's a very, very good movie. I think a lot of people were surprised at how funny and good it was. And they're hired to investigate the apparent suicide of famous porn star Misty Mountains. So, give it a watch. What's it on? It's on Netflix. Look at that. It's on Netflix. And that's number 9. Number 10. Number 9 is The Forgotten. Okay, so this one's a little out there and weird, but when I saw it in theaters and the big twist came up, I was like, okay, this is stupid but really cool at the same time. It's on Hulu. Julianne Moore is tormented by the memory of her 8-year-old son after he died in a plane crash. Her therapist is convinced that he's not dead, and she's created 8 years of memories about a son. Oh no, she's stunned when her psychiatrist reveals that she has created 8 years of memories about a son she never had. And she meets a guy who has a similar experience, and now they got to prove that their kids did exist. And there's a big plot twist in it that I don't want to say, but it is just wacky and amazing, and I personally love it. Number 8, we have Wicker Park. Okay, this was Josh Hartnett when he was, Josh Hartnett prime years, 2004. And I always hope for a good Josh Hartnett movie to come out. I know he's in some shows and things like that. But big Josh Hartnett fan. A young Chicago advertising executive believes a woman he sees in a cafe is his long-lost love. His belief leads to obsession, and he puts his life on hold to find her. Josh Hartnett, Diane Kruger, Rose Byrne, Matthew Lillard. It's got a pretty good cast, and it's on. You can watch it on YouTube for free. That's kind of cool. And Tubi, Pluto TV, Roku channel. I watched this a few years ago for the first time, and it was one of those movies that kind of flew under the radar for me, at least, and I enjoyed it. It's a good, just want to relax and get into a good mystery. This one's for you. 10, 9, 8, 1, 7. Number 7. Okay, number 7, we have The Wicker Man. I wonder if these are related, Sergeant Howie. Probably not, but this is the original one from 1973. It's a horror thriller movie. It's a British folk horror film. Sergeant Howie arrives on the small Scottish island of Summerisle to investigate the report of a missing child. A conservative Christian, the policeman observes the residents' frivolous sexual displays and strange pagan rituals, particularly the temptations of Willow, daughter of the island magistrate, Lord Summerisle. The more Sergeant Howie learns about the islanders' strange practices, the closer he gets to tracking down the missing child. This was a really good movie. I think they made they did a remake of it, but I don't think it's that good. But Christopher Lee is the Lord Summerisle. There's a lot of creepy scenes in this, and it's got some good themes, and this was another one that I just never watched until a few years ago. And I was like, all right, I hear a lot of things about this. And it's a really creepy movie. Where are we on? 6? Number 6, right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6. All right, 6 is the It film series. I guess either one, the TV movie in 94, right? Or the two It Chapter 2. I loved these movies so much. In the town of Derry, the local kids are disappearing one by one. A lot of these movies have kids disappearing. In a place known as the Barrens, a group of 7 kids are united by their horrifying... And then it doesn't really... But if you've seen it, it is... Stephen King wrote the book. I think Bill Skarsgård did a fantastic job in the newer versions of Pennywise. And then Tim Curry was the original Pennywise. And... when the TV movie came out, when I was a kid, I was absolutely terrified of it. I'm not even scared of clowns, really. And I know that's a fear, but I'm not really scared of clowns. I was just the movie in general creeped me out. And yeah, it was the kid from Stranger Things is in the new one. I forgot. Yeah, Finn Wolfhard. Yeah. If you haven't seen the new ones, you should get seeing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We're on 5, Cinco. Okay, this one, here we go. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That's right. Harrison Ford, Sean Connery, Allison Doody, River Phoenix as a young Indy, rest in peace. Julian Glover and Denham Elliott. Yeah, this is the third one in the Indiana Jones franchise. His father, who Sean Connery plays, has gone missing, and Indiana Jones goes to find him, and in the process, looks for the Holy Grail. This is my personal favorite Indiana Jones movie. I think for me, it goes 3, 1, 2, 4. We'll see if this fifth one coming out is good. I'm still going to see it in theaters, but yeah, this is my favorite Indiana Jones movie. And it's available on Paramount Plus, Disney Plus. It is available on the big boys. So if you haven't even seen this, River Phoenix is an amazing young Indiana Jones. I liked him. Indiana Jones and Last Crusade. All right, number 4, 3. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm confused, but the next one is Taken. Brian Mills, Liam Neeson, is a former government operative trying to reconnect with his daughter, and then his worst fears become real when sex slavers abduct Kim and her friend shortly after they arrive in Paris. With just 4 days until Kim will be auctioned off, Brian must call on every skill he learned in Black Ops to rescue her. This movie's on Stars. Yeah. This movie is really good. I've never seen the second one, I think there's a third one maybe, but I loved this one. I saw it in theaters. Just the trailer, when the trailer came out, was a really powerful trailer. Liam Neeson on the phone, that famous monologue on the phone that he gives. Taken. Next one. Okay, so number 4 here, but I guess I did an extra one. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. The one with Daniel Craig, 2011, Rooney Mara, Stellan Skarsgård, Robin Wright, Christopher Plummer. Holy crap, what a cast. Disgraced financial reporter Michael Blomqvist, Daniel Craig, finds a chance to redeem his honor after being hired by a wealthy industrialist Henrik Vanger, Christopher Plummer, to solve a 40-year-old murder of Vanger's niece, Harriet. Vanger believes that Harriet was killed by a member of his own family. And this movie is a really amazing psychological thriller. It is a David Fincher film, so it's going to be good. And I remember seeing this as well, and it was really good. Is Christopher Plummer still alive? No, he died in February 5th, 2021. Rest in peace. Yeah. Huh. Okay, so I guess we're on number 3 now. Gone Girl. Gone Girl, directed by David Fincher again. David Fincher. He knows his missing people movies. All right. Former New York-based writer Nick Dune, Ben Affleck, and his glamorous wife, Amy, Rosamund Pike, present a portrait of a blissful marriage to the public. However, Amy, the wife, goes missing on their 5th wedding anniversary. Ben Affleck becomes the prime suspect in her disappearance. This is another fantastic movie. It's available on Max, formerly HBO Max. Want to give it a watch? But yeah, Gone Girl. Really love I like the wine glasses in it. The wine glasses have a nice shape. If you enjoy that aesthetic of a wine glass, please get it. Gone Girl. All right, number 2, we got Prisoners. I've talked about this movie. This is probably the 4th time I talked about this movie, but it's on Netflix. 2013. Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Paul Dano. If you've listened to this podcast before, you know what this movie's about. I'm not even gonna say it. All right, number 1 is my favorite, I guess, on here. Yeah, Shutter Island. Martin Scorsese, Leo DiCaprio, Mark Ruffalo, Ben Kingsley, Michelle Williams, Max von Sydow. I love him as an actor. The implausible escape of a brilliant murderess brings U.S. Marshal Teddy Daniels, Leo, and his new partner, Mark Ruffalo, to Ashcliff Hospital, a fortress-like insane asylum located on a remote, windswept island. And the woman appears to have vanished from a locked room, and there are hints of terrible deeds committed within the hospital walls. Teddy realizes he'll have to confront his own dark fears if he hopes to make it off the island alive. It is available on premium subscriptions on Hulu. Not really available anywhere, I guess. You got to pay for it. This saw some in theaters, and fantastic movie. Need I say more about it? But yeah, there it is. Shutter Island, and that's my top, I guess, 11 movies about missing people. I guess most of them are children in movies, because that really tugs the heartstrings. Okay, let's get into some questions. Hold on. Someone walk by? I hear someone. And no questions this week. Okay. I have a question. Let's see. Let me think of a question. Here. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's go to ChatGPT. Okay. And I'm going to say, ask me a question. Ask me a question about missing people. Here we go. Let's see what it says. Here's a question about missing people. What are some common reasons why individuals go missing? What a great question, AI. Some common reasons why individuals go missing. You're asking my opinion on this. Maybe they go missing because, common reasons are probably because they are not prepared for their environment, and given they're not prepared for their current situation, maybe. They're not prepared for the environment, like I said. And then there's cases of kidnapping, abductions. They're by themselves. They don't have a buddy system going on. If it's a child, they don't have an adult with them, adult supervision. Things like that, I think, are probably the common reasons why individuals go missing. Always be prepared. Keep your head on a swivel. And stay safe. Thank you, ChatGPT. That's right, folks. We have a story time this week. Oh, wait, hold on. We got a story time this week. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Who took my fucking cell phone? All right. So a husband and wife meet. Their names are Carol and Ian. I think I named this guy Ian in all my stories. Carol and Ian they've begun dating. They started dating during the bubble. They started dating during the pandemic. And they found each other. They found solace in each other, peace. And they married in spring of 2021. 2 years later, they are living in their own house, happy, making dinner. And Carol goes to Ian and says, "Honey, can you get the onion? I'm making dinner." And Ian says, "Sure, honey." He goes and grabs the onion from the pantry and gives it to her. He goes, "Here you go, honey." She goes, "Thanks." And he turns around, and suddenly Carol goes, "Why do you think I'm real?" And Ian turns around, and she's completely gone. Ian has been by himself, seemingly, this entire time. Well, that's the episode today, folks. I hope you enjoyed all of the missing movies and people and things and NBA players. This was a good missing episode. I hope you all enjoyed it.